So today we're going to be talking about Girls Next Door, because to say that this show had a grasp on me as a preteen girl is honestly an understatement. So before we get into the fun stuff, like the outfits and all the pink, cute goodies that are waiting for us, here are a few facts to start us off. So Girls Next Door aired in 2005 and it ran until August 2010, giving us 5 wildly successful seasons. Now, when we look at the name, Girls Next Door, the term usually refers to a female archetype associated with traditional values, simplicity, and charm. Now, a few things. This show definitely does not encapsulate traditional values. It focuses on the quirky, fun things that set these girls apart from your average girl that you're really living to next door. And as well, they hanker back to the idea behind Playboy. Now, Hugh Hefner has said multiple times that he likes putting girls next door on his covers. Your girl next door in this case is more of like the male fantasy of the girl next door. Like he's like outside her house with like little binoculars looking through her window as she's changing, and ooh, she's so sexy in her lingerie and she's looking at herself in the mirror, and it definitely has more of the pornographic connotation with it, which is what Playboy is. It is porn. There's no way around it. And this is definitely what the 3 girlfriends of Hef represent. I mean, we have to remember that these are real people we're talking about, even though the show definitely does not portray them as real people and focuses more on the things that turn them into like the sexy, dumb stereotype. Like exactly what we perceive in society or in the media as the sexy, dumb blonde. This is exactly what these girls represent. And ultimately, Hugh Hefner, the Playboy, he is expected to have a harem of girls on his arms, and they are expected to look good. They are expected to be sexy, and because of the fact that he prefers blondes, they're all expected to be blonde with big boobs. So yes, these girls all have those elements, but I do want us, in the process of discussing the show, in the process of discussing the characters and their outfits, not forget that these are real people who are multifaceted and are not just valued for their looks, but their brains, their compassion, their love that they have for their family members and friends. All of these things. As I said at the beginning of this video, this show had an insane grasp on me as a preteen. Now, in 2005, I would have been about 7, but I do think I watched the show when I was like around 11, 12, when it was like having reruns on E, and I would watch it like at night secretly, because I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, and anything related to sexuality, sex, sexual empowerment of women was very much looked down upon, demonized, villainized. And I do think that this show really opened my eyes to the fact that it's okay to be sexy as a woman, that there's a certain amount of power that comes from being sexy as a woman, and that it does open doors for you. Whether we are going to perceive that as good and bad, I do think it's definitely nuanced. Nothing in this world is entirely good, entirely bad, because the argument can just as well be made for dressing for the male gaze, that is not true female empowerment, that women only empower themselves by feeling sexy and attractive for men, which I guess to a certain degree is exactly what these women did. They are meant to look good for Hugh Hefner, otherwise they would not be his girlfriends. But I do think that does not negate the fact that they enjoy their own bodies, they enjoy the way that they dress, and the show really had a profound impact on me. So if you're watching still at this point in the video, I would like you to comment down below whether you've watched the show, yes or no, if you're a man or woman, and what this impact watching the show had on you at that point in your life. Good, bad, had an intense impact on your sexuality, on the way you viewed yourself? Did it give you good self-esteem, bad self-esteem, whatever it is? I do want to add a little bit more of a nuanced discussion to the show and not just see it as pink and frilly and big boobs and fun, which the show definitely is. And I would like to focus on the fun elements of it, because that's more fun than talking about patriarchy and dressing for the male gaze and all of these things. And as much as I would like to focus on that, that does not truly represent society and real people and the effect that these types of representations of women in media have on us as individuals, whether you're a man or woman. So it's definitely important to add that little bit of nuance to the conversation. So please, opinions down below. And with that, now we will focus on the fun, pink, frilly, big boob, fun stuff, I guess. So some of these overall style elements that we will be seeing both with the girls on the show, the girlfriends, and the other girls, is definitely more cutesy design elements. We will be seeing a lot of pink and bows and little short hemlines and little thingies emphasizing the breasts, because they all had huge boobs that I'm sure were mostly fake. But it was, the big boobs are so prominent in the show that they're more like an accessory than like an actual body part. It's insane. But once again, we are talking about Playboy, and Playboy is exactly as I wanted to say. We have these cute design elements meeting a very mature and sexy environment. So it's like the crossover of that is definitely the style that we will be seeing a lot. It's kind of like the early 2000s bimbo, and I hate using that word and describing women in that way, but it's kind of the stereotype of how you think a woman like that would dress. Whatever a woman like that is, we're not going to be judging women over here. We're talking about fashion. Way a woman dresses does not mean that she is a certain way or that she needs to be perceived in a certain way. We can all just have fun with our bodies, with the clothing that we put on our bodies, and it's not that deep. Okay, so we will be seeing a lot of pink, a lot of short stuff, a lot of cropped stuff, all the outfits paired with little stiletto heels, a lot of juicy couture tracksuits, and I do mean a lot, like a lot, to the point that I now want a juicy couture tracksuit. After watching the show, analyzing the outfits, watching the show again, the first season, I need it in my life, and I've never thought that I would say that, because I'm someone that dresses like this. Definitely more like Dita Von Teese rather than 2000s Girls Next Door. A lot of cute tiny handbags accompanied with tiny dogs. Like there's a lot of dogs in the show. Like how many dogs were living in that house? If I find it out, I will be putting it on the screen. But I have read Holly's book. By the way, side note, if you've not read her book, read it. If you've not listened to their podcast, you should watch it. But they were talking about the fact that there were so many dogs and there was just dog poop everywhere in this house, and it was completely filthy, which in retrospect, knowing that, watching the show, is kind of disgusting. But moving on, so we have also the big blonde hair, of course, and the heavy makeup that was very popular at the time, which definitely is influenced more of like the 90s Playboy style. When we think of Anna Nicole Smith and Pamela Anderson, and I know I talk about them every time I mention Playboy, but they were truly icons, okay? This is also around the time, I think this is shortly after Anna Nicole Smith's own show on E. I think it aired on E, if I'm mistaken. But you can definitely see inspiration from it. The bleach blonde hair, the heavy makeup is very reminiscent. So, firstly, I would like to talk about Bridget. And even though I just mentioned there's some overall style elements that cross over between all these girls, each one of them leans into certain aspects more. Similar to if you've watched my Mean Girls video, like the plastics all have like a signature style, but each one of them leans into certain elements of that style more. It's exactly like that. So Bridget is definitely more cute and more sweet. And if you've watched The House Bunny, I also have a video about that, one of my favorite movies ever. I do think most of, what was her name in The House Bunny? I don't know, Anna Faris style in The House Bunny was definitely inspired by Bridget. which I will be getting into, but I have broken it down into like different categories. So first we will be talking about Bridget's casual style, where we will be seeing a lot of matching sets. So she wears a lot of workout sets, and in the show they make a point to say the whole time that she's fat and she's lazy, or maybe they don't say it, but they definitely imply it, but that is far from the truth. If you've watched the podcast, you would also know that she was obsessed with working out during this time. She was working out the whole time. I think they even said she worked out more than Kendra, but the show did not like to portray it like that. She was just a cute, bubbly one, and I do think that is true to her personality to this day, but they definitely glossed over that. So we will be seeing workout sets, but as well we will be seeing the infamous Juicy Couture tracksuit, and she definitely had the widest variety of Juicy Couture tracksuits than I saw from any of the girls, so that was definitely a big passion of hers. We saw them in all the colors. I will be putting them up here. Feast your eyes. We will also be seeing like jeans with oversized sweatshirts and a lot of Playboy merch. Like a lot, like on the sweatshirts, on the shirts, on the tank tops. Zip up hoodies, little tiny shorts. Of course, the pink juicy handbag. And all of her casual looks are styled with running shoes. I don't even want to call it sneakers because it's really more a running shoe than a sneaker. And she wears pink in almost every outfit, like more than the other girls. Like she really truly leans into pink. Then we have a little bit of soft grays, a little bit of blacks, and more pastel colors overall. So of course for her styling with her casual looks, we're still gonna be seeing her in a full face of makeup. The big bleach blonde hair and a blowout, and like this hair is styled to the nines, and then when she like works out, she puts it in a ponytail or like a bun. We also see little pigtails, stuff like that, all with a little bow detail. I love her hair. Can someone tell me how to get that hairstyle? You know, my hair's not long enough, but girl, you have beautiful hair. I want to know how to style it like that. And of course, all her looks are completed with the signature Playboy necklace, which we see all of the three girlfriends sporting, and as apparently was like a little gift from Hef for his girlfriends, as they all got like a little necklace. So I want us to take a little bit of a look, a little gander at some examples of my favorite casual outfits of hers. So this is a great example of what I mentioned, like her matching workout clothes. First of all, it's pink, a little bit black, it's Playboy merch, and it's matching. Here we can see it as well. You can see she's wearing full-on heavy makeup. She has her hair done. And I don't know if this is right after workout or right before, but she's like committing to it, and I love that for her. This is another one of what I would call like her little casual outfits. So you can see she's wearing jeans, she's wearing a little sweatshirt. Where is it? But she still has her hair and makeup done, which I feel like adds a little bit of an element of sophistication to a otherwise ordinary outfit. Or this, for example, she's wearing like, I think it's a tiny denim skirt or shorts. She has the red tank top and the red bucket hat, pigtails with the red bows. That adds a little bit of sweetness. And the juicy tracksuit. So she has it in this cranberry fuchsia type color, blue, and I saw like this light pink one that she's wearing when she's matching with her sister. Of course, the juicy handbag, and a lot of Playboy merch. So for example, this t-shirt, this tank top, and of course the sweatshirt also has Playboy on it, but she's living there. That's her life, so. But it's cute. Now next up, we're gonna be taking a look at her cute outfits. That's my category, just cute. So cute outfits is what you wear when you're going out or just lazing around the house, but you want to look a little bit extra level. So it's not like we're not going to a club, but we maybe have some errands to run, whatever. That's the cute outfits. Here we will be seeing the stuff where I feel like the house bunny drew the most inspiration from. Little short dresses that have like a lot of low cut necklines and almost like more of a dirndl style. So, you know, like the more German, I will be putting up a picture of what a dirndl is. It has more like the milkmaid silhouette what we know today, like the little sleeves, little puff sleeves, little ruching here, and you know what I mean? And all of them are like very small and tiny and very fun, like with the patterns and the colors. And they definitely remind me more of like dresses that a small girl would wear. And I do think that adds to the element that Bridget loves dressing up. Like, that's a big passion for her. She dresses up for every occasion. Like, she goes with the theme. Like, she takes the theme and she runs with it. And that's why I love Bridget's style. There's definitely elements of Bridget's style that I greatly relate with. And I love that she's always dressing for the occasion. And it definitely also shows her childlike joy that she has around fashion. So we have, yes, as mentioned, the short dirndl style dresses, little cute tops with bow details, of course, a lot of halter neck style dresses, like we see it with all of the girls. I'm just telling you now, the halter neck style dress had a grip on society at this point. If we also take a look at Legally Blonde, they came out around the same time, round about. How many halter neck style dresses were in that movie? And if you don't believe me, go watch the video I did on that. Also a lot of pink, so it was definitely a style influence at that point. Pink and a lot of halter neck style dresses. So we also see a lot of ruffles, and of course all her little cute outfits are styled with high heels. So for the colors for her cute outfits, we're once again seeing a lot of pink, blues, more pastel colors, once again a little bit of a hint of black. She has the same styling as with her casual outfits, quite heavy makeup and the big voluminous curls that at this time like normally free. She does like the ponytails and pigtails with her casual outfits. And of course the Playboy necklace. Now some examples of some cute outfits. So we see these types of dresses a lot. That's what I mentioned, almost these milkmaid type dresses, which I will put a little comparison photo up of Anna Faris's character in The House Bunny, and you tell me that this is not inspired. Like the hair, the bows, the dress. Like they could have taken some of this stuff directly out of Bridget's wardrobe. Okay? They just, in The House Bunny, took it a little bit further with the sexiness, I think, to satirize it a little bit. But yeah, another dress, very similar silhouette. Where did she buy these dresses? Did she buy them at once? I have questions. I want one. The halter neck style dress that had everyone in a grip. You see them in a few fun patterns. So this flamingo one, once again, iconic. Iconic. Of course, the little cute tops, little bow details. Now we're gonna be taking a look at some of the clothes that she wears for events. Now, once again, they are girlfriends of Hugh Hefner, so they are going to a lot of Playboy events, and a lot of Playboy events, because of the nature of the magazine, they are expected to wear lingerie or swimsuits. But I do think it's interesting how even in the midst of having like little uniform that they have to wear or expected to dress in a certain way for certain events, Bridget definitely does have more fun with it. So if we take a look at the swimwear that she wore for the 4th of July party, yeah, she's in her swimsuit, showing her body off, but we have her like dressed as the Statue of Liberty, and she's just having so much fun with it. Or for another event that they had, like a smaller event, where she organized this seance in the mansion because she was convinced that it's haunted. She's like dressed head to toe, committing to the look, dressed like a vampire. And she looks great, okay? She looks wonderful. Or they even went to the jazz festival at one point in the show, and she had her little dress that she bought, and she was like, how can I take this little bit step further? I want to have more fun with it. And she bought like these iron-on music notes that she personally ironed on her dress to just add a little bit more fun to the entire look. And I love that. I love seeing someone having fun with the looks, and she's just like, once again, committing to it. And especially for the event looks, we do see her leaning more into different colors and not like her standard all pink, almost all pink color palette. And once again, the styling is very consistent, big hair, heavy makeup. So as I mentioned with Bridget, she leaned very much into like the cute, sweet aspects of the overall style elements, where I feel Holly definitely has 3 distinct things that she pulls style inspiration from. So we have her glamorous looks, her classic looks, and her little bit of fun looks. So firstly, let's start off with her casual wear, which I definitely think is more where we see her fun looks compared to her glamorous and classic ones. So we will be seeing, once again, a lot of playboy t-shirts with jeans, or in general, like more cropped t-shirts with low-rise jeans, as were popular in the 2000s style. So we're not seeing crops that are like very short, they're like, but still above the belly button. We see her lounging around in her oversized pajamas, of course, like little tracksuit, what looks like juicy couture bottoms with a tiny t-shirt. And even in her casual outfits, we do see her wearing cardigans quite often, which is quite a pattern for Holly, and it definitely brings in more of her classic feel to her style. And as well, we also see her wearing zip-up hoodies. And of course, all these outfits, the casual outfits, as with Bridget, is styled with running shoes, which were, I think, just in general quite popular at the time. We do see her wearing a wide variety of colors. So we do see purples and pinks and peaches and dark grays and greens and blues and all of these things. She definitely is more open to experimenting with color than Bridget. I think Bridget is just obsessed with pink at this point. But once again, her styling includes like a big blowout, heavy makeup, and like her Playboy necklace. But we also see her sporting some pigtails and like cute hairstyle elements coming through there. Okay, we're back. It's another day. It's another outfit. I had a little emergency, but with all that being said, let's look a little bit at some of Holly's casual outfits. So as we mentioned, she does wear a lot of t-shirts and jeans in general with her casual outfits. So I feel like something like this is a perfect example. She has a cute little t-shirt on. It's pink. The low-rise jeans of the time, of course. Her hair and her makeup is done as always. I love the styling of these girls. They always commit. This is another perfect example. I do feel like this brings in a little bit of the fun elements that she does have in her style. So we can see almost like this sporty tank top with the little necklaces. And it was like the first episode of the show. It was like actually a little candy necklace. You know, those that you can like eat because it's made out of candy. I feel like that's just so cute and almost innocent. And yeah, of course we have the Playboy t-shirt. Here's another typical casual outfit that we see these girls in. So we have the jeans are almost like capri style, which is very 2000s. We have the cute top. We have the little zip-up hoodie. Another comfy outfit, little sweatpants, t-shirt. We do see her in these oversized pajamas a lot. And I'm like asking myself if it's the pajamas. I don't know if it was like talked about in the book or in the podcast, or both. But I remember Holly talking about the fact that when these girls would have their little intimate time with Hef, they were like required to put on like these pink pajamas so they will all match. It's a little bit perverse. We're not gonna get into that. But apparently those pajamas were like the most comfy thing in the entire world. So I'm wondering if those are the pajamas, which if they are, it's a little bit almost creepy. A little bit gross to think about, but apparently they were really comfy. So I have questions. Okay, then let's move on to more of her, what I would call her elevated style. And with Holly's elevated style, this is where we definitely see more of the classic and glamorous looks coming through. So the elevated style for Holly would be the equivalent of Bridget's cute style. These are the outfits that she's leaving the house in, but she's still able to do like everyday things in them. But she's dressing up a little bit. She's putting in a little bit more effort into how she looks, how she presents herself. So with her outfits that bring in the more of the classic elements, we're gonna see that a lot of the outfits give like Stepford wife. I don't know how else to explain it, but like a lot of 50s silhouettes, very poised, very classic pose, things like that. And then we're also gonna see a few outfits where we see this fun, sporty influence coming through, but it's definitely the minority, but it's there. And as I mentioned, with a lot of the outfits in the house bunny being inspired by Bridget's style, this cute, overly, I don't know, overly feminine style. I do think that some of the outfits that Holly wears with the knee-high socks, the booty shorts, do definitely serve as an inspiration for some of the outfits in the house bunny. If you see what I see, please let me know in the comments down below, or if you want to argue, that's also appreciated. And then for the fun, sporty style influences, they are the knee-high striped socks. She wears them in a few outfits and I love them. Like, I want some. They would not work for my body type or my style, but I want them. They're so cute. And then for the very glamorous outfits, we're going to be seeing the big voluminous curls, over-the-top high-heeled sandals, and very sexy dresses. Now, for all of these elevated looks, I did see her wearing heels and that she's wearing the striped socks with like some sneakers. For her colors that she's wearing in these elevated looks is definitely a mix of everything. I feel like Holly definitely embraces color in the way that she dresses, whereas Bridget is definitely pink focused. Holly's definitely open to everything and she makes it work. So for her styling for these elevated looks, we're once again seeing the big blowouts, the heavy makeup, pearl necklaces, classic gold watches. She has like these small jeweled earrings, which is absolutely beautiful. We see her rocking big hats and oversized sunglasses. Okay, so now we're gonna be taking a look at a few of my favorite example of her like elevated look or her cute going out looks, whatever you want to call them. So first we're gonna doing a little bit of the classic. I feel like this is also where I have a big overlap with Holly's classic style for my everyday stuff. If you've watched like my video about casual dressing, you'll know what I'm talking about. But here she's wearing a little cardigan. It has like cable knits, this pearl necklace, very stylish. Oh, I love this one as well. She's wearing a circle skirt. She has this wrapped cardigan that's drawing attention to her waist as well. It's like, I don't know if that's her bra or if it's like a little camisole, but it definitely adds a little bit of sexiness, which I'm here for. Take notes, everyone, take notes. I'm also taking notes. Then we have this, for example, once again, the heels, the Stepford wife skirt, a little blouse, the gold watch. I talked about the gold watch. It's very stylish, very classic. Then let's take a little bit look of like her glam influences. This is definitely like glam classic crossover. So we see the more glamorous glasses with these tiny little jewel earrings, definitely brings in that classic influence, but with it being a jewel, of course it's still very glamorous. Especially, you can't see the rest of this outfit, but she's just casually lazing around the pool. I mean, I aspire to be that kind of bitch. That is like next level bitch. I love it. And of course we see the tiny little phone. And then this is now a very glamorous Holly look. We see her sporting a lot of these looks, so it's definitely a style staple for her, or like an outfit staple for her. We have the tiny little dress, little camisole thing over it, and that dress is so small. I don't know, it's so small. It's very sexy. We have the huge hat, the sunglasses. It's giving like movie star, you know, like old Hollywood movie star, but make it Playboy. Then here's another one. She's just lazing around the house, by the way. I think that a few people came over because they had to like look if their mansion was haunted. But she's just chilling. Like, bitch, yes. Sexy red dress that has a slit, and look at those heels. She's just completely relaxed. I love that. And here's another one, also more of the glamour halter neck style dress. She just wears this on the daily with a little ponytail. This is definitely more of her fun look. You see the striped socks, and that's like a thing that I love is if you like combine the colors in the socks with the right shoes that also has a color in it, so like matches. It's just visually so appealing, and that's what we have. We have the blue and white shoes with the white and blue socks, blue and white like baseball tee. I don't know what sport that is. I'm not a sports person, let me know. But like a huge one that almost covers her little shorts that she has on underneath. And then this, I don't know, metallic silver bomber jacket. okay. And of course, like, Bridget is there in another juicy tracksuit. Of course she would be. Okay, then let's talk about her little event outfit. So once again, we do see a lot of lingerie, swimwear out, because of course they have girlfriends and they have to attend these events, and it's Playboy events and it has a certain dress code, or it's expected of them, whatever. So apart from the lingerie swimsuit type outfits, we do see that for events in general, her outfits do lean very sexy, as opposed to Bridget, who leans more cute with her style. She also does sometimes lean more into like businessy type outfits when they're like doing events for the show itself. So not Playboy events, but like events around the show, which I do think is a more accurate indication probably of her own personal style, because it is something more centered around her, the event, as opposed to Playboy, which is more like centered around Hef and the brand in general. Not to say that the outfits that she wears to the Playboy events is not a representation or extension of her personal style in itself, but we do see a lot of short, low-cut dresses, and then of course the very sexy business suit, which we have to look at. And this is what I want to talk about, this suit. I just love how she's just like taking the occasion. It's like, you know what, I want to wear a sexy business suit. I think she does not have a top on underneath this suit. I don't remember. I don't have another screenshot. But it's very sexy. Very short, very like décolletage friendly. But at the same time, like, I'm a boss. I like it. So with that being said, let's move on to Kendra. Now, Kendra definitely has the most casual style. So where I separated for the other girls this style into like casual outfits and like cute going out outfits and event outfits, Kendra basically just has her own casual style and the stuff that she is forced to wear to events, I think. I don't think that things she wears to events at all represent her own personal style. I think it's really what she feels like is expected of her as being a girlfriend and everything that comes along with it. Because we also see her at certain points in the show like getting offered to participate in certain events, getting offered to have the honor of wearing the Playboy bunny costume, because in this world or in this scene at this time, I don't think this really exists to that extent anymore. It was really considered an honor to be allowed to wear a real Playboy bunny costume, because the bunny in itself represented so much for Playboy, you know, with these like Playboy hostesses who worked in these Playboy clubs and so on and so forth. She does turn this down multiple times throughout the show because she does not feel comfortable wearing that, and I truly respect that about her. Like, she, as much as she is a part of this world, she's not allowing herself to be forced into situations where she personally does not feel comfortable. Kendra also has the hugest personality from all three of the girls, and I do feel like she often in the show like outshines the other girls, like, or she draws so much attention on herself that it feels often like she's the main character and the other two are just the sidekicks. And growing up, when I watched the show, I was obsessed with Kendra. She was my favorite. And now watching the show, I'm just like, does this girl ever shut up? Like, she's laughing the whole time. She's so loud. She's so obnoxious. And a lot of that could be down to the editing. I don't know. But she drives me crazy like 90% of the scenes that she's in. But that could also just be due to the fact that I am now older. And I am now also older than she was when filming the show. I'm now about the same age as I think Holly was in the show. So yeah, let's talk about the fashion. Okay, so she does definitely draw a lot of influence from like the hip-hop culture around the time and the fashion of the hip-hop culture, in my personal opinion. If you do not agree, then keyboard warrior. Okay, so we see a lot of baseball caps. She wears like chains around her neck, hoop earrings and cornrows and tank tops and like the baggy pants. And that's definitely like, ooh, and she has like a basketball as like more of an accessory than I don't know, she's the whole time like, I'm an athlete, and then I'm like laughing my ass off every time they show her trying to do a sport and she's just like failing, which I know that was also the shtick, you know, they did that on purpose. But it's hilarious. And she definitely does that more when she's really attempting to put in effort into her style. So when she's attempting to accessorize, then we definitely see this more like street hip-hop style, drawing a lot of inspiration from Black culture, in my personal opinion, because when we see her just like living her everyday life, we mainly see her in tracksuit bottoms with short, tiny tracksuit bottoms with sports bras, crop tops, the matching sweatsuits, but not more. We do see a few comfy pieces, but it's definitely leaning more like actual tracksuit, like athletic tracksuit, than juicy, although we do see some juicy. Football shirts, bandeau tops, tracksuit style and baseball style jackets. I don't have the terminology for these things, so just deal with it, like zip up hoodie type things, and then more like baseball jackets. Is that what they're called? I think so. We do see the iconic baby fat jacket, which brings back memories. I used to be obsessed with Kimura show. Kimura, Life in the Fab Lane. If you watched it, let me know. Tiny little shorts, jeans with tank tops, of course the iconic juicy handbag, which I think every one of the girls had at this point, oversized hoodies, and of course the ever-present Playboy merch. Now, a lot of her outfits fall in the grey, black, pink or blue color palette. We do see a lot of white. I don't know if she's like actively trying to wear certain colors over others, but we do actually see a lot of pink, which I was surprised about because she's like a tomboy and whatever. But I don't know if it's just because she's also sometimes just buying what's trendy and what's expected of her, or that really accurately represents her own personal style. I am unsure, but it could also be that there's certain expectations really put on these girls. Well, there definitely are certain expectations put on these girls on how they're expected to dress and present themselves, and maybe that has to do with Hef's personal preferences. Maybe he does expect and like it when the girls are dressed more feminine and girly. I don't know, the jury is still out on that, but I can only make assumptions based on what I see, and that is what I assume at this point in time. So if you have any information that represents the contrary, let me know. Okay, so let's take a few looks at some of Kendra's most iconic casual outfits. Here we see, of course, the street style element. I don't know what to call it because it's really not my world. Like I'm not into street style type things. But we see the baseball jacket, the tank top. We're gonna see with Kendra, she does always wear makeup, but her hair is rarely done. Like when she gets her hair done, it's really more for an event or just like straightened. It's not like the other girls, like every day has a blowout and every day the hair is done. Here's another more cute outfit for for Kendra. For the other girls, this would definitely be more like a casual outfit, but for Kendra, this is definitely her putting more effort. So we have the jeans, the little tank top, the tiny handbag. This looks very similar to other outfits we've already seen from Holly and Bridget. Okay, here we have another more like street style inspired look. We have that looks like cornrows. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, we have the hair, we have the little hoop earrings, we have the chain necklace, we have the tank top with Playboy on it. Then here's another one of her chilly outfits. We have like little tiny shorts, little pink tank top, little pigtails, the Playboy necklace. This is the type of outfit we see her in a lot. Jeans, oversized hoodie. And of course the matching jumpsuit. I've been filming so long, I don't know what words are, but it's like pink and black. So it's definitely like a little bit more cute. And we can just see a little bit of the mess that is like always in Kendra's room. It's insane how messy this girl is. Another little sweatsuit, one of her more working out outfits. And of course she has on a full face of makeup as she's working out. little cute bandeau top. Who remembers the bandeau top? I mean, I don't really live in the world of like trends, so I don't know if this is like making a comeback. I would not be surprised. I've not seen anyone in real life wearing these at this moment in time, so who knows. But who remembers that? I remember having some, and it was just a pain. They always felt like they were gonna fall down. And here's the baby fat jacket we mentioned earlier. I don't know, this jacket, just seeing it brings back memories. Yeah? I kind of want it, even though I have no reason to want it. I want it, like nostalgia. Another little Kendra outfit, tiny little jean shorts, the juicy handbag, oversized hoodie, little sneakers, little sports shirt. Very, very Kendra. But for Kendra's event outfits, as mentioned previously, I don't think they really represent her personal styles. So there's not a lot of her own personality that we see in these outfits, except like the ones around the mansion where she's just like chilling in her swimsuits or lingerie that they all kind of expected to wear. So event outfit, they all have their own 4th of July little swimsuits. She of course also has one. This is apparently the first night that Hef and Kendra met. She was dolled up. They like painted these bikini on her with the little jewels, but she was actually naked. But heavy makeup, once again, not a true representation of her own personal style. This as well, I think she borrowed the dress from one of the girls. The hair also doesn't look very Kendra, but I guess someone decided, yeah, this is the hair. This looks for me the most like Kendra from all of these outfits we saw now from her events outfits. I can imagine her in this. But it also does, like, she never looks comfortable in any of these fancy outfits. But I like this on her. The color looks nice. I like the open neckline. It's very pretty. And here on the left, we see her also. This is like one of the events they did for the show itself. She's once again dressed so much more casually. So much more casual than the other two girls. Like Holly is in her business suit. Bridget is also in her little blouse. And then Kendra's there in this like halter neck style tank top, which I like it. Like, I like the top. It's like blue with a little bit pink embroidery, the pink hat. It makes sense. What? No, wait, no. I mean, the hat and the top do not make sense together, but okay. For Kendra, it does make sense. That's really her dressing up. So, yeah. But this was a lot of fun. With that, we went through all the things that I planned on saying. But let me know in the comments down below which one of the girl style you personally relate with the most, and if I should do kind of like a follow-up, like my favorite outfits of season 2 or something like that. And please like and subscribe and all those things. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!